everyone, this is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you're watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And welcome back to Keep or Cull, the show where we play all the games and decide if we want to keep them in the collection or cull them from the collection. We have recently culled a lot of games, and it's harder and harder to get space for games.
Yes.
So again, like a little blast at the beginning, a culled game doesn't mean a bad game because we don't have space for all the games and we don't have space for good games. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Do you want to begin?
Yeah.
Let's start on that side.
I will start with Schadenfreude.
Okay.
Which was given to us by John at Spiel, which we really appreciated.
From BGG?
Yeah.
Not just a random
No.
John. Okay.
BGG John.
Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, boom!
No, I'm just kidding. This is like a trick taker that I've heard so much about for such a long time. And this is a really wonky one.
Yeah.
I feel like I still need to play it more to kind of understand it. But you are playing cards and it's like the
second
highest who wins the trick. But if you win a card that you already have won the same number, you will then delete both of those. So they null each other out, and then you will get no points. And basically, in general, you don't want to be the person to go over 40 points. Then the next two highest.
You want to get points, you don't want to get too much points. So if somebody has many points, you want to give them points. But you also want to get some points so that you have like the most points when some people go over 30 and are out of the game.
Yeah,
that is basically the game. I really like it as well. Many people have said like it's the best trick-taking game. I don't know if I agree so far. There's others that I have more fun with, but this one I want to explore more. Next up for me, let's just get the trick takers out of the way. There's other stuff as well. There's names in the timestamps, so you can go and check out the games you're interested in if you are one of those that don't like trick takers. 7, Prophecies. This is a trick-taking game. Let's do the thing.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, boom.
It's a double keep.
This is fantastic. I really like this. It is it's lighter than I thought it would be because of the thing you're doing. Basically, you are getting a hand of 10 cards. In front of you, there's going to be a row of 10 colors, and that is going to be the leading color for that round. So you don't have a choice. It's not like the leading player chooses the color. And so you know that the first round I'm going to have a player card of this color if I have it, and the next round and so on. And then before the round begins, you're going to take 7 cubes and you're going to guess how many times you are going to be the first, have the best card basically, the next to best card, the third best card, and the fourth best card. So you're basically trying to predict how all of the tricks are going to go. And when somebody gets to having done all of their 7 prophecies, they're going to score some points depending on how quick they did that. And then you're going to play 4 rounds, or the player has 7 points or more.
This was really fun.
Yes, I explained the whole game. That was the meaning.
And it was like, it sounded so difficult when I heard about the game.
Yeah.
But then when you actually explained like what information we do have, it wasn't that impossible.
Next up, let's do a trick-taking game.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
This was given to us. The 7 prophecies was above. This is a review copy. Okay, 1, 2, 3, boom!
It's a call from me.
What a huge surprise from you there!
Well,
because
I did like it better when I was not asleep at Spiel. This is a Freedom on Freezer trick taker.
Yes.
So
back. That's it.
Yes.
No. Yes. I think it's fun. It's a bit wonky. It's very weird because it has this kind of very chaotic feeling for a trick taker.
Yes.
Because it's not like, oh, I have a 11 now, that's gonna win, but now suddenly there's a 16 in the game because it's basically feels like the old, he did the fast forward games where you were getting new cards, like it was a legacy game over different games. This feels like a legacy game over one game because it's like, oh, in this game, we have cards from 1 to 11, but in the second round, you might have cards from 1 to 12, or 1 to 13, and there's no Trump suit, and there's no special ability cards, and the further around in the game you go, the more it's like, oh, but now there's a 17 in this, and now the card that was super good in round 1 is horrible, and it's the worst card in the game. And it's kind of wonky that way, and it's also wonky in the way where you kind of want to get points, but you also don't want to get too many points, because when you play a card, and you win the trick, you're going to get those cards. And those are going to be your draw deck for the next round. So if somebody knows that you're going to win the trick, they might just give you bad cards if they can. So that you're going to have way harder time getting cards next round. And when you don't have enough cards, you're going to draw from that super deck, which gives you new special cards.
It's cool because I have not seen like a catch-up mechanism be such a big part of a game before. And it gets kind of out of hand chaotically because you have a hard time figuring it out when it's smart to get points. But I feel like just get points when you can. But it's like weird at the end of the game where you know that you will not get any more the next round because you have a lot of ones in your hand now. But we're keeping it, I presume?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yes.
I think
it's a fun game.
It's a bit long, but I feel like most trick-taking games, or many trick-taking games, the only negative for me is that some of them takes a bit too long to play. So I feel like you need to play them in a quick pace to get the most fun of it. Let's do a non-trick-taker, 50-50.
It's just a card game.
It's a card game. It was the wrong side up. 1, 2, 3, boom!
Oh, it's a keep from me, a code from you.
Yes.
I thought this was fun.
I like it a lot, but I already played it 6 times.
Oh yeah, you have. I've not played it 6 times yet. This is a game where you are escalating. You're playing card and you always have to play higher. You can also do a 50 jump. So if you have a card that is exactly 50 away from the card that is already out, you can jump. But it's all about having foxes at the right time.
Yes.
So you don't want to take cards because when you can't place, you have to take cards until you have a low number so you can place. I thought it was really fun. I don't see myself playing it a lot. We could cull it, but I thought it was fun.
The thing is, I think it's a lot of fun, but it also has... Like, if you draw bad cards, because there are bad cards, you will basically lose the game.
Yeah.
There are ways to get out of it, and when I played it more times, I saw like, okay, I could play this, but maybe it's actually better for me to do that and play this and get a few more negative points, because I would then be more in the game later. So there is like things like that you will learn, but for me, I had a lot of fun playing it, but I will not choose to play it again.
I think I will keep it for now.
That's fine. Next up, we are going to have...
another card game.
Up or down?
Up or down.
Who made this one, you will ask?
Yes, it's Kramer and Kingsley.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, boom!
Oh, it's a double cull.
Yes, but it's fun.
It is a really fun game. I was really unsure what I wanted to do with this. Yes, it's not that visual. But Up or Down is a game you want to create sequences that either goes ascending or descending, up or down. And the way you do that is you place one of the cards on your hand out into the table, and then you get to pick one on either one of the sides.
It's a circle of cards. A circle of cards in order.
Yes.
And you play between them in order in the numbers, and then you take the one.
Yeah. Yes. So and you want to have a lot of the same color in one row, but those are usually a little further apart. So.
Points.
It feels like what's the other game? The game where you want to have like your options open to be able to take any cards. Yeah. You can really easily lock yourself out and be like, I can't place any cards now, and then you have to discard one entire stack, and that's a lot of points gone.
Yes, it's a fun game, but we're calling it. Next up, we're gonna have Pot Holic, another trick-taking game. Are you ready?
Yes.
1. Yes, this is a review copy. Yes, the others were not. 1, 2, 3, boom!
It's a kill from me.
Okay. I think this was very fun and very unique. It's basically a trick-taking game, but also a set collection game. Because you're going to have different things that you score for, randomly placed out each round, or each game you play. And it's a 1 round, so it's a pretty quick one. It says 30 minutes, which I think is higher because it's only a 1 round game. And depending on where you go in the rank, you will be able to pick earlier. Like if I have the highest card, I will go earlier, but I will only pick 1 card. So I can either pick a card from the middle, or I can eat one of the cards I have in front of my plate and place it under, which is basically my belly. And at the end of the game, you're going to get points for the cards that are in your belly, and you're going to try to have eaten the right things. Like you could have like, oh, you want to eat pairs of numbers, or you want to eat pairs of symbols, and all of these different scorings, which makes it interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was cute and fun, but we've played cooler trick takers.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is that you make like the trick is a part of it, but then you have, and also the cards that you play in the trick is going to go into the hot pot, which are the cards you can draw from earlier. So it gives me in the same category of rainbow.
Yeah.
The shedding, one round
Yes.
shedding game, but this was like a bit more intricate. I think I want to keep it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, next up, we are going to have no tricky taking game.
It is open.
A shedding game.
Oh, it is a shedding
Yes.
game. Yes, it is.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, boom.
It's a double keep. I thought this was fun because
It's
you have...
weird.
It is really weird because you have a hand of 4 cards.
6
some
cards, 4 cards are face up and 2
Yeah.
in your hand.
Yes. And you are, based on what the other have open, you're trying to see who's going to be the first to get rid of their cards.
Yes.
And you are basically bidding on that person, and you get points for being the first person to have no cards left, or if you guess correctly on who is going to be out first.
So you're basically entering into a partnership with another player without that player knowing
You could also vote for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Or you could enter a partnership with yourself. But that's...
With yourself.
With yourself. Next up is going to be a trick-taking game. We're soon done with them if you are already bored, or you can just skip them. Or you can just watch us because we are so pleasant people to watch that you have to subscribe to the channel. Next up is this one, Fixer. Boom! 1, 2, 3, boom!
It's a double keep.
This is very interesting. This is very weird and very interesting. It is a trick-taking game where you can play multiple tricks at the same time. And it's only 1 versus 1. So every trick only has 2 cards. Which is kind of weird because when we play a 4-player game, basically I can play a trick with you. I can play a trick with a person over here, and I can play a trick with a person over there. So let's say I haven't played anything, I can play a card to one of 3 different spaces. Boom, I play it there, and let's say I play it to the trick that's beside you. But then on your turn, you don't have to place it adjacent to me.
No.
So you can say, oh, but I can't win that now because I have that
Color.
that suit,
Yeah.
But I have it lower, but I only have 1 left of that suit. So I'm going to use that over here so that I can use the trump suit because like it's a rock, paper, scissors where like different suits win against each other. So then next round I can play that and win over you in that suit. And then there's different ways of scoring points, different ways of getting cards. The loser can get a card back in their hand. Like very, very interesting and very quick, like 1 round only. Highly recommend this one.
Yeah, because the card that wins is usually like, it is higher than the other usually, that goes to the losing side. So you can potentially give away cards that you will be lost the next time.
And also you don't want to use very good cards to win like a 1, which is going to be 1 point.
Yes, because you can also... I was left the last time we played with a lot of high cards at the end, and I was just like thinking, oh, shoot, this was suddenly bad, because if I lose with one of these cards, that's 9 or 8 points to another player. But I thought it was really fun.
Very, very cool. Next up is the last trick-taking shedder of today. This is more of a shedding game
It's
with
Sail or
bucks.
Die.
It's a review copy.
This is weird.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yep.
You need a paddle.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, boom!
It's a double Cull.
Yes.
This was... Well, this is my least favorite of the bunch. I thought this was... Because you are playing... You don't... It's no numbers on these cards. You're just playing like a suit that hasn't been played before.
Yeah.
It's a must not follow. And if you don't have that, or you can pay like points to play more cards or play the same suit as before, and you are trying to just keep your points. If you're in a position that you pause, you will get your points back, and there's basically just like 1 player that loses points each round. Because that's the person who did not pass.
It was interesting, but less interesting than other games.
Yes.
Next up, we are going to have a Kickstarter, Explorers of Navoria. This we played it with the expansion. Just jumped right into that because the base game seems very light. So we played with the expansion. Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, boom!
It's a disagreement. I'm choosing Cull. I was very unsure though. What is happening? Oh,
it's hard. It's very hard. It's very hard. I like this game.
It was really nice. Yeah.
It's pretty light, but it's not too long. It was a lot of fun. You're drafting cards. It's basically like a multiple drafting game.
Yeah.
You are drafting cards and you're drafting actions, and you're trying to like draft the best cards and the best actions and then score points every round. It was very fun. when I think about it now, I want to keep it because I would like to play it at least again. And then maybe it won't survive the next round of culling, but it's like one of those where it's been a little while since we played it. It's been upstairs. I've been looking at it every day. I've been like, oh, should I keep or cull? It's one of those where many games we play, I'm just like, I know what's going to be a keep. I know it's just going to be a cull. This is what I've been thinking about every day. And being like, it's not going to be like a favorite. It's not going to be like, oh, this is one that I will always keep or this is one I want to play all the time. But it's one that I look at and I feel I'm not completely done with it yet.
Yeah, I agree, because even though the rule set is pretty easy to get into, I feel like there were a lot of thinky and cool decisions to be made. And I like the drafting bits of the game that are like 2 parts of the draft. So yeah, I agree.
Let's skip it for now.
I'm happy to play it more.
Next up, we're gonna have
the Quiet House, or
the
just Quiet House.
I'm not allowed to speak. Double Cull. That's the longest time you've ever seen a board gaming ramblings video without me speaking. But Quiet House was fun.
Yes, I agree. It was very hard to visualize in the beginning because you have...
What are you doing?
You are moving pieces in a house and you have different information. Some you can see and some is hidden from you so the other players can see it. So you have parts of the solution each and you're trying to place the pieces in such a way that it's correct for all players, but you can't speak. So you will be frustrated many times because you place them in the perfect position and somebody moves it. And you are each time like drawing cards that you can't move, like deciding which piece you can't move. I thought it was a fun game.
Yeah, the thing is, like, especially like the first time we played, we ended up with a puzzle that was pretty simple because we ended up like with the same pieces. I saw only 2 pieces basically on my 2 sides. But the other time we played, we ended up in a way where it was very interesting because in the beginning I was like, I have no idea what's going on. But then like suddenly I understood that basically everybody started to understand what everybody was trying to do. So it was very interesting. I was like, oh, I hope it gets to me because I'm pretty sure I know what I'm supposed to do. But then the other player also did the exact same thing. I was like, okay, we actually all understood. So it's a very interesting cooperative game, but it's just like, it's not one I will choose to play.
Yeah, but
which
it's
is
true.
basically like the reason.
Yes.
When I look at it now, like I could have kept it because it's a very good game and I
Yeah.
would have liked to play it again. But in the plethora of games and games and
Yes.
games, it's not going to be kept.
I agree.
Next up, we are going to have Steam Power by Martin Wallace. A Quiet House was a review copy. Cellular was a review copy. This was also a review copy. Are you ready? It's a light train game, like in the 60-minute train game category.
Yes.
Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, boom!
It's a double kill.
This was fine. The first time I played it, it was fun. And I played it again, and it was not that fun. It basically says a new train game that everyone can play. I agree with that. It's very simple. For me, it's too simple.
I feel like in the 60-minute train category, I have other games already.
I love that that's a category. It's like...
It is.
It is.
I have other games that I feel are more fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was very straightforward. I thought it was fun to play it, but I just did stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't understand, but I don't think it is like a level of depth here that I don't get. I just think that it isn't for me.
And also, like, there's 2 maps in this game. I love the components. Like,
Oh,
the
yeah,
components
it's
are great.
beautiful.
The 2 maps in the game. The first map is completely uninteresting. I understand that it's like for very new beginners, but it's like basically a blank map. Like in the game, there's like terrain that costs nothing to build on, and then you have like hills and stuff like that. In this game, there's only 2 different terrains, except for water. So like mountains doesn't exist in the base game. So it's basically the first map is just do whatever you want it, and you're done. And so fun little game, but I would rather than play Steam. I would rather play Railways of the World, and I would rather play Chicago Express, Irish Gosh.
For the first step into this category. What do you think about that?
I would rather than play like Mini Express or play Irish or Chicago Express. It's not that none of those are hard rules, but they have more depth. I feel like than this had.
Me?
Okay, yes.
It is a game that is called Gnome Hollow.
Gnome Hollow. This is a review copy. This was one that we didn't get a chance to get at Gen Con. We got it at Spiel. Now we played it. Now it's in a video. Let's do it the thing.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, boom.
It's a double Cull.
There's nothing wrong with this game.
No, I thought it was a pleasant game. It was a little too long.
Yes.
But I think when you play it multiple times...
because it says 45 minutes. That means 10 minutes per player. If you're playing with 4.
Then you're playing very fast, I think. Yes. Because this is like basically Carcassonne, but with a lot more.
Yeah.
So you're placing tiles to make these little mushroom circles.
Yes.
And when you complete a circle, you will get all the colored mushrooms that it contains. And you want to collect mushrooms to trade them in for points, and you also want to collect flowers and stuff. So you have 2 gnomes that you're like placing around, and I thought it was a fun game. I think that it was a interesting decisions on top of the tile laying, and the only complaint is that it was a little too long for my taste, and that it might be for not me.
Yeah, it's a bit light, basically. Yeah. It's a great step up from Carcassonne.
Yes.
I think this was a very good game, but for me, not one that I will play again. Next up is going to be a big box. It's Iron Forest, the new game from the people who did Ice Cull. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, boom.
It's a double keep.
I backed this. A while ago, I don't remember now when, because when I back stuff, I just forget about it until it exists. I backed it, and I was a bit unsure because it was pretty expensive. It was way more expensive than I would ever pay for Ice Cull, for example, but it had 2 layers of things, and it looked cool. I was like, click the thing. And then it arrived, I was like, oh, it's this game. Probably gonna play it once, and then because it's probably a kid's game, and I'm never gonna play it again. And then we played it, and it's awesome.
It's so fun.
It's a lot of fun. We played it and it was fun. We played it more and it was fun. It is a super good game. It's a team versus team game. You could play on free for all, but we only played a team version so far. It has launching of things. It has flicking.
It has a catapult.
It has... The thing what is really cool, it just has like 10 different missions, and the ones we played so far, even though like they have similarities, they feel like you are doing different things. It's not like the first one is Ice Cull, basically flicking through doors and falling through holes and getting the little clips. But then it gets like more evolved. You're trying to roll dice, flicking dice, launching dice. There's even like a football match game. There's things where you can do Ice Cull in this one.
We had
many things.
A majority game that was really cool. We played this. The first play we had of this was at the Brettspillcon, which is Board Game Con in Kristiansand in Norway, which was a really cool thing to be a part of. And when we played it there, people were coming around and being curious because it is not often you see like a 2-story board game, and it was just a blast flicking around these things, and you felt really cool when you made things happen. And it's not a very easy thing to flick things around, so you're also going to miss a lot and curse a lot.
We're gonna have one more game for this video before it's done forever. This is Stamp Swap from Stonewire. This is another review copy. Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, boom!
It's a double Cull.
This, for me, was fine. It was fun.
I thought it was more fun than I thought it would be.
I agree.
Because I've just like concluded that I choose. Wait.
I split, you choose.
Yeah. I choose.
I split, I choose.
Is not my favorite mechanism in a board game in general. But I thought it was fun because you're first like drafting, and then you are setting up of the tiles you drafted. You reserve one that you will definitely keep. So that's like a guaranteed piece for you. And then you split the others into 2 groups, and some of them are face down, some of them are face up. and you feel like you don't have like full control over, but you also see like, oh, but if I don't draft the piece that I actually want in the beginning, I can hope that I can draft it from you later.
Yeah.
So you can kind of, it's a very tactical game, but I thought it was short and sweet.
And I like fun scoring, so you can go for all of that. A fun game, but not one that we are going to keep.
Yes.
So that is it. We kept mostly smaller games and the biggest game. But mostly
Iron Forest
smaller.
is kind of big.
So these are the games. Iron Forest is not there because it's too big. So best and worst experience of this bunch. I think for me, I think I'm gonna have to go with Iron Forest as
it was
the best.
really fun.
Because it was just like so much fun of a game. And I think there's not a bad game, but Sail or Die is going to be the worst experience.
I'm going to be boring and say the same thing, but I agree, like, all of these games are pleasant games.
Yes, we are lucky to be able to play mostly fun games. And that's going to be the end. Subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.